What's up, people? Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Cup Chasers podcast. Thanks for being here. It's been a wonderful, crazy, wild weekend in the Premier League. I say wonderful because we are back on top where we belong. You love to see it, but only because of the robbery at the Empty Head. Chelsea, decimated due to one or two mistakes and some horrific officiating, must be said. Aston Villa, Unai Emery with a superb, impressive performance against a Spurs team who were not as bad as I'd hoped they'd be.
That's probably the better.
It was a great game. Second best game of the season for me.
That rivaled exactly.
One of the best games. I don't think it quite rivaled Chelsea City, but it definitely was one of the best games. We'll get there. Man United have had one of their best performances of the season. Luton Town have beaten Palace. Burnley lose it at the death. It's a crazy, crazy weekend. But right out the rip, let's get the likes up on the video. Subscribe if you're new. Thanks for being here. Lewis is in the building. What's up, buddy? We were just talking about the Manchester City robbery. We'll definitely get to that one. But I think first things first, guys, St. James Park is just not a fun place to go at all for anybody.
It's just
to
me, the first thing, like when you look at it and when you see all the headlines and stuff, like this scoreline does not reflect how this game went. And that's what frustrates me so much about this, even Chelsea in general this season. When we're on the losing end, it is just that. We play a solid 87 minutes and then we have 3 or 4 moments of complete it's just absolute rookie or amateur mistakes that you cannot make and you get capitalized on.
Y'all have been punished brutally.
Like they capitalize on it. If Chelsea messes up and somebody else in the other team, if Arsenal do this, if City messes up, it gets shipped over the crossbar and everybody's like, oh, could have had that one. But like, it's not on both ends for us. Like, and Enzo could have put us up 2-1 here in this game. Badiashile could have easily put us up 2-1 and 3-1 in this game at this point. If you look at the timeline from the Enzo miss at the PK mark when he gets fed one. I know it's a one-time, but he gets, who hits that? My boy Frank Lampard. That's what our midfielders have to start scoring goals.
Because if you're going to compare all of your midfielders to Frankie, you're going to be sad most of the time.
Listen, I just need you to hit that. Caicedo hit that in the Tottenham game.
Well, I mean, are you upset that Ogachukwu, is that how you pronounce that? Ogachukwu started over Caicedo?
Mm-hmm.
Would you have rather Caicedo start?
Friday.
I mean,
oh, that's right. He fell asleep in the team meeting or whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I heard a rumor that he was actually moving off.
International duty till Friday.
Enzo should hit this. It's a big moment in the game. It completely changes and alters how this game's going. Badiashile gets credit to the keeper, man. To not lose track of where that ball is going to come, and it goes pretty top corner, but I mean, yes, it's kind of right at him. All Badiashile had to do is put a little more mustard on it.
I mean, Nick Pope's no slouch.
Nick Pope's no slouch, right?
He had a great save on an Enzo shot.
Yeah, and then that Enzo's on target, right? It's just, man, we got robbed on both ends, and then James catches, he gets, I don't know, mother wind, whatever you want to call it, against him. My man, somebody was blowing bubbles in the crowd. My man just got kind of taken away.
Yeah, soft doesn't even begin.
Like he was the weight of a feather.
He went down like me. That's how I go down.
Must be said though, James can't be getting the card for kicking the ball away.
I agree, 100%.
That one, no excuses.
No excuse, right? No excuse. 100%.
Especially with the armband.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the problem, man. Like, our leadership gets frustrated. Like, Thiago gets frustrated because he's playing with a bunch of kids. I can only imagine. James gets frustrated, and he's visibly frustrated at times, which then accounts for, when the leadership loses track and loses and makes baffs and makes mistakes and openly shows that it's affecting them. Like, you cannot expect anyone else. Like Raheem Sterling's a child. Yeah, he's 26, 27. He acts like a child mentally on the pitch. So you're not going to rely on him to be a leader up front. Nick Jackson's what, 23? Enzo's 22, 23. Caicedo's barely 20. Conor Gallagher's 24. Yeah. Enzo's 21. Yeah, that's younger than what I thought.
Like Gallagher is 19.
Ugachukwu is 19. Labia would be 19. Like, you are surrounded by kids. Like, Conor Gallagher is playing the midfield because he's the oldest one on the midfield. Like, that's the problem.
And he played terrible in this game.
Terrible. And when he plays terrible, it loses the plot. Like, you have to have him playing that engine to have that high press work, to keep the flow of the game working. And then when he gets disjointed, which he can do, again, he's young. He's just a workhorse.
Would you say the physical nature of the game you guys really struggled with that?
I think it frustrated us so much. Yeah,
you knew it was coming though.
Right. Yep.
I definitely thought you struggled with that. Also, are you guys going to mark up on crosses?
Any set piece ever? No, set pieces is how you kill this team.
Like the back post marking ever?
My man was at the PK mark my man was at the PK spot unmarked for the third goal when it was 3-1. My man is just that's the Silva slip. It's the second goal.
No, it's the third. It's the third goal where he's.
It's the second.
Or was the second one?
Silva gives away Silva gives away the game on the third goal because
on the third. So Silva was the third. Yeah. The second one was the free header on the penalty spot.
On the penalty spot, wide open. Why not have one, kid?
Yeah, that's rough, man.
Merry Christmas.
That's rough, pumpkins. That's 2 games in a row you'll have given given up 4 goals.
Mark. We never.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean, I thought Badia Shield coming back in would be a good thing. He struggled, I thought.
His first game back, but I know.
Yeah, awful game to have to come back into as well.
Right, against Newcastle.
I think that we saw why DCIC plays on the right when he does, because Silva kind of looked a little bit lost at times. And that's weird to say, for Thiago Silva. And there's so many problems to complain about that I don't want to focus completely on Silva. But you can't make those kind of mistakes, not when you become the oldest Chelsea player to start a match the same day, 39 years and 64 days. And it came out today that Chelsea will talk to him in June, but Silva doesn't want to leave.
Yep.
So I mean, his wife loves London for one.
His kids play for Chelsea. Both his kids are signed into our academy.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's just going to become a part of the furniture at some point.
He'll become one of the defensive coaches.
I think he should.
Usher him in. Let him coach. I like him at this. I like him at the club. I think he's a solid figure. He's a legend. Like,
well, you say Patrick, do it this year? Should you do it this year, X?
I think
retire this year and become a coach this year.
I think he should. If he feels like he can play, so to ask Piliqueta, if you feel like you can play at this level, do it until you prove you can't. He's one injury away from that decision being made for him. Is the only thing.
Most definitely.
So, but I will say this, like, to Patrick's point, one thing that I've always said that was building up into this run and to where we were at and how good we were, what really got messed up was the consistency. We screwed with the lineup. It's an inconsistent lineup. We've been consistent on what we do, how we do it, who's played for the last 5-6 games. You mess with our lineup, we struggle, we get back into it. Kudos to us. We could have went ahead. The game looked good. And then as soon as the crack started, it fell apart because I don't think Silva trusted who he was playing with because he wasn't used to playing with him. That's why that pass, it looks as if he thinks a man is there when he traps it, looks up and then he misses the pass. And, that's just an out of place defender, to Patrick's point. He doesn't know where he's at on the pitch, which is very unlike Silva because I don't think he knows who he's playing with. So,
I think I think that it's the other way around. I think that it's the other way around for Silva. And I thought about it when Patrick said that he looked lost. I think it's the fact that some of the other players get out of position a little bit, and then he doesn't know where he needs to be to make up for that.
Yep.
And so it looks like he's in no man's land when really he's trying to cover extra space because Disasi has left a man or maybe Badiashile, is too far to the left or the right or whatever. And so there's space to cover. And now his particular role is also only half covered. And it looks like he's not doing either.
And he doesn't have the legs to do either. It's Georgie, man. He
can't do both, that's for sure.
Both, that's for sure, right.
Yeah. Talk about Sterling's goal, though. What an absolute banger.
What a hit.
Yeah.
Don't let
that was incredible.
Man's trying to get the PKs back. But
so he can get his number.
So he can get his numbers.
Yeah.
Palmer's going to screw him right out of that bonus. I know he is. It's gonna be
Palmer wasn't that great in this game.
He was not good.
And I'm crediting
Palmer was really good in this game.
The physicality.
And I think that was a frustrating thing. Like there's no one where you can say, "Oh, well, that played well."
I didn't expect
maybe Sterling, but he got frustrated too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He got. I mean, the goal to put them ahead was on a foul by him. Playing defense away from goal, it was pointless. And so they got a free kick. They play it over to the right and cross it in, and Joe Linton is just sitting there waiting on it. I just watched it again, so I'm a little.
Yeah. Well, speaking of soft free kicks, and don't come at me for this, but the free kick that they give away for y'all to score is super soft.
Oh yeah.
Just like the James second yellow, really, really soft. Sterling feels the wind. He feels the guy brush his shirt and goes down and wins. I mean, that was soft. And I even said it to myself. I shouldn't have been, but I was like, I had it on while I was driving. And I even said to myself, I was like, man, if they score from this right here, that's going to be. And then he
actually gotten booked for a dive when he was trying to, when they went to VAR to look at it in the box. I thought I could see where it could have been like, well, that's not a dive. But Shar puts his foot out and Sterling takes another step in. And then as he's starting to connect with him, Shar pulls away. And so Sterling just falls completely. And I was like, that, I mean, to me, that would be a dive. And I was a little bit surprised that they didn't call it. But, I don't
know. Very similar situation in the Man U Everton game. Very, very similar situation. Martial, it looks like he leaves his leg in while the defender's pulling away, and they upheld the pin. So it fine margins, man. Oh yeah. We'll get to that. He was embarrassed about it, but we'll get there.
No, what I was gonna say though is I'm not gonna complain about officiating because Chelsea played poorly in the second half. There's no question about it. I thought in the first half we were good, we were even.
What did Posh say? What did you say to these boys in the locker room, bro? We just didn't come out.
Did he get to give a locker room speech?
I don't think so.
Did he even get to go into the locker room?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because he was banned from the.
Can they give a speakerphone speech?
Right. Can you not call in? I would FaceTime. I would FaceTime in and look at all of them and tell them how many laps they are running, and then they just mute it. And now I'm just screaming. And then the assistant coach hits unmute because he's the cool one. Oh yeah.
Oh my god, that'd be awesome.
But anyways, I'm not going to complain about officiating, or I'm not going to blame this completely on
Right.
officiating.
We missed opportunities. We could have won the game beyond the refs. Yeah.
First off, who is this clown that's officiating?
Bro.
I mean,
I picked him up from the local YMCA and was like, "You get the rest."
I mean,
congratulations.
I remember seeing him first off until the other day. I felt like that he let. I felt like that he kind of tried to control Newcastle to begin with, and then he kind of just said, "Screw it, they're going to do whatever they want to do." And it just turned into kind of a free-for-all, which then got us frustrated because they're now kicking and hacking us and pulling us and this, that, and the other, and nothing's being called. And so we're retaliating, which, again, is that whole immaturity. You got to have the maturity to say, they're letting this happen. We're just going to have to deal with it and keep playing our game. But seriously, I don't know who this clown was. He was not good, though. And I don't know what the PGMOL is like doing to vet officials at this point.
I'm putting in my application at this point.
We all should. We all should.
Yeah, I'll go ref a Prem game.
I've refed before. I have experience.
But no, I mean, it's just I don't understand how, and I know we've talked about this, and I'm not going to get too deep into it, but I don't understand how you can have the best league in the world, but have
wait a minute. It was Simon Hooper.
Oh,
it was Simon Hooper. Yeah,
he still was crap.
No, he's awful. Yeah, he's awful. He is. That's consistent. That tracks.
But yeah, I still don't understand how you can have the best league in the world, top to bottom, we'll say. Maybe that not at the top compared to, say, La Liga and all that, but top to bottom, you have the best league in the world, and you have the worst officials as a league. It makes zero sense to me. And Reece James should not be going off with a red card. So now Chelsea is going to be without a left back because Cuckoo got an accumulation of cards.
Yep.
Reece James got a red.
Chilly's still hurt, so we don't have a replacement.
Chilly's hurt.
Colwell.
I guess we can play Madison.
Colwell will get thrown over there, man.
Well, it's all right. Brighton have ridiculous injuries. Lewis Dunk's got himself sent off because he's an idiot.
Count on Gusto though, right? The right back. We know Gusto can at least run.
Is he healthy?
He didn't get a red card. I'm sorry.
That
was mean. Yeah.
So,
I thought he was back.
I don't know.
I didn't see him on the last injury.
Well, while they're looking, Lewis, what you think of the Chelsea game?
It kind of was what I thought it would be in the first half, and in the second half, just as both X and Patrick said, well, what happened? I mean, it's weird because they had momentum, but I mean, you just kind of knew going into St. James's Park, it was coming, man, and kicked and punched. I was looking because obviously the officiating was something that left something to be desired, but I mean, the card count was 6-4. So if I think, oh no, I'm sorry, yeah, 6-4. Did I miscount? No, I think it was 6-4 yellow cards to.
It was 5-4 according to ESPN.
Was it?
It was 4-4 in yellow. According to ESPN, it was 4-4 in yellow cards and 1 red for Chelsea.
But that was a yellow red, so that's why I counted it the other way. Because
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But I mean, and again, like in the chat, and I understood what Patrick was saying. I think I replied to that. I was like, that should Reece have gotten a red? No, but his yellow was dumb, and you kind of leave him in the spot where you're like, if I don't call this,
right?
But he puts him in the spot where he has to give him that, and so. That's kind of on X's point about leadership. I mean, they have the quality. The biggest thing is the consistency, and that comes either with chemistry, time. Because the thing about it is and I hear you guys about the age, and I get that. But like some of the best players in the world we're talking about are in their.
Jude Bellingham is what, 20?
Yeah, but then most of them are in their mid-20s, right? They're in their mid-20s.
Could play anywhere, man.
And when we look at a guy and he's basically hit 26 plus, then we're kind of looking at him as they're declining. So, I mean, Chelsea guys are right at the cusp where they just have to find consistency. And I think it played a role where, you change your lineup. But, I mean, I thought Chelsea would give it a go, but I didn't really expect
we did
to do like this on them, but I did know and I did feel that everyone has seen it. All of us has seen when your team goes to Newcastle, it's not easy, man. They're gonna do whatever. Jake, you've been frustrated when you went there. City was frustrated when they went there. There's no way. Even if the official is the best official in the world, that place is hard to play in, and the officiating makes it even harder because of the way they play. And 4-1 is flattering to them, but it's what they needed. At the end of the day, looking at the table, Chelsea, if I'm not mistaken, they were in 10th to start, so they didn't really lose any ground. So, you look at that and you try to go forward to the next one and start to pick up your points from there,
So to answer the question on Gusto, he withdrew from the under 21s in France, came back. He had like a small lesion of somewhere, but he was seen training last week, so he should start. So you're going to see Gusto, Colwell, and that probably also means you'll see Decimated and probably Silva.
So I had a question too. Now I don't know the depth of it, but I saw there was a story where it said Pochettino. I think the players wanted to go on a helicopter ride or something, and then Pochettino put the kibosh on it, and then they still anyways or something like that. So it's
Bench.
This was explained. This was explained. So Pochettino said something about having training on Sunday, but he'd already given the players permission to go to take Sunday off. And so Jackson showed up in the locker room at Villarreal, and a couple other players were somewhere else. And so there was an uproar, but I believe the club came out and said that they were supposed to have the day off anyways. Which, however you feel about that, that's it.
Now, Graham Potter already put it in the calendar.
I was going to say, Graham
Potter already put it in the calendar as a corporate day. He probably peppered them in for the next 10 years.
It's a corporate retreat. A corporate retreat at the Villarreal locker room.
Villarreal locker room, courtesy of Nick Jackson.
But they were supposed to have Sunday off, and then they were supposed to be back today, which I believe I saw pictures from training. So
I did not. Speaking of going back in training, I did not know Carney has not had a return date or a diagnosis given since his October 18th injury. Dude, he might be done.
Like done.
Done. It's a knee injury, undisclosed knee injury. He'll go under further review before continuing into rehab and surgery before he returns to Cobham with the club's medical staff. No return date currently being assessed, and that was back in October 18th is the last update we got.
Woof.
Everyone else except for Chalobah, which we know Chalobah probably doesn't want to play, is my understanding of all of this. He's still dealing with his thigh injury, who also has no return date for the club. Everyone else has a medical diagnosis return date.
Well, that's definitely not good.
He had a setback about a month ago now.
So sad.
Let's see.
That's bad.
He felt pain in his knee after returning to full first team training after a number of weeks out.
That's bad. I didn't know that. I was reading our injury list, and that one shocked me.
Yeah.
But we won't. We do have at least some people to play these positions. Like I said, Gusto's expected to be back on the 3rd of December. So that
you mean you're gonna need it.
They're all coming back the 3rd or the 6th of December.
Yeah.
You're definitely gonna need it because this fixture list ain't no joke.
And we
You guys aren't in Champions League, so you're playing 6 times in December. Lewis and I will be playing 8 times before the 8 games before the end of the year. So no, we're not in the League Cup. So if you have a League Cup game, then you'll have that too before the end of December. But yeah, lots of fixture congestion. So definitely going to need that squad. Chelsea going to have to bounce back. It's Brighton next. But speaking of horrific officiating decisions, we'll head on over to the Empty Head and we'll increase the amount of people that were out the game.
7 games in December.
Yeah, 7 games by double.
Newcastle
here.
for final.
But Lewis, I'm happy Arsenal are top because of this result, but I've been calling out the referees.
You did.
Doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter if Arsenal are robbed. Doesn't matter if Chelsea are robbed. Doesn't matter if Tottenham are robbed. I will call out the referees. Man City have been cheated. Absolutely robbed. You cannot tell me that if Joe Linton hasn't pushed Gabriel, that this goal should be disallowed. Unbelievable.
You know what was interesting is that as I was watching the game, I looked at Allison's distribution and just his general play and sort of body movement. He looked bad the whole game. I mean, obviously he got injured in that game, but he looked bad before the injury, or maybe he came in the game injured. I don't know, but he looked bad. His distribution was terrible. He made an error early that he should have scored on, but it is what it is. But it was funny because to see people make the argument that Akanji fouled him when he just missed the ball and then he fell, and it was I look at that and I'm not gonna was that a bad call? Yeah, but I mean City should have scored plenty of other goals. And
Allison was diving. Allison was going down looking for the foul.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
Allison
I get what you're saying, but
was looking for the foul instead of going for the ball. Allison was looking for a foul. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And then the goal they score, which was out of nothing, and I hope they don't punish him or give him any suspension for Trent, because he scored and he did his little thing, because if you score a goal you have a right to celebrate. I mean, he didn't do anything because Doku was cooking him all game. But nobody wants to kind of talk about that. But Doku ate him the whole game. The whole side, he was destroying them. Just they weren't.
Well, the first half, mostly the first half, he improved a bit in the second.
Oh, that's because they changed strategy. I mean, he had a bunch of help over there. But I'm talking one-on-ones. He was eating them.
One-on-one, he got wrecked. Yeah.
Yeah, he was eating them. But I mean, at the end of the day, he got his goal. They got the draw. They got the point they needed. And it is what it is. I mean, City killed it, could have and should have been better. I'm not going to blame anybody else. I mean, it's for example, Julian Alvarez played poorly. I mean, he missed a lot of chances. There's some City supporters that I don't know if they're real supporters, if they're going to get on him hard. He didn't play well. Jack Grealish was supposed to start that game like I think we all predicted, but he got sick that day, so that's why he was unavailable and he wasn't on the bench. I think Grealish is in that game, then there's a different outcome as well. But, you got to take it what it is. I'm going to give Liverpool credit as a team. They bring enough aura to a game where, that's enough to make a team pay attention to them, and they play decently well. I was never really worried about losing to them. It's different than the Chelsea game. Like, for example, in the Chelsea game where it's 4-4. I said it before, I wasn't worried about that, but the game was open. It was exciting. It didn't feel like Chelsea was like, looking for something. They were just playing their heart out, and they were like, hey, we're at home. Let's do the best we can. And this one, it just, the whole Liverpool setup was a little different, and City could have played better. I mean, you got to finish your chances. Salah was quiet for most of the game. City played well. And I mean, we made a few errors here and there. I'm gonna give them credit for getting for scoring when they got the chance, and the City got to be better. I mean, obviously injuries are affecting everybody, so depth did play a role in that. But Pep didn't make any substitutions in the game. Maybe, I mean, Bob could have made. I mean, everybody was young on the bench, so there was no like attacking guys that could really come in and done anything. So I mean, I understand why he didn't really make a change, but maybe Oscar Bob or Rico Lewis, somebody could have done something. But I like Akanji played well in the inverted role. It just the result was the result. I mean, City has not been at their best this year. It's different than how I felt early last year. This is more just it's the attrition of just guys falling off. There's a bunch of hurt guys, and I've never bemoaned anybody about what their team goes through. So I'm not going to make excuses. They should have won. They didn't. Credit to Liverpool, and we march on, man.
How about Holland? 50 goals, 48 games.
Yep.
Well, what's amazing is, and I mean, the commentators made this comment, and then a lot of City supporters were again, and I just, it's funny because I understand asking for excellence from your team, but and did they miss a lot of runs? If you watch the game, they missed a lot of runs that he made that De Bruyne would have just pinged him, and he easily could have had a hat trick in that game, shooting 10 times, but they didn't. They didn't play him the ball. And he doesn't get. You can see he gets frustrated, but it doesn't get like he doesn't pout about or anything like that. He does more to be more involved in the team, so because he understands the whole concept. But they're just not at their best. But it's amazing to see that many. And I mean, he's a tap-in merchant, so it's good that he's able to always know where to be. Because everybody else could be a tap-in merchant too, just like he is, if they know to positionally how to put themselves in the right spots to score and not shoot it over. Because I mean, this is why Nunez has the same number. Oh, but anyways, the point being,
I like Salty Lewis. It's great.
The point being, and speaking of Nunez, I thought it was really interesting because at the end of the game, you saw when Klopp and Pep, and you can see they're friends. Those guys are friends, and they were just chopping it up at the end of the game. And then Nunez said something to him in Spanish, and you saw Klopp kind of look at him like, "What are you saying?" And then Pep was like, "What?" And then he had to move Nunez away, and then Pep was like, "Well, I ain't no bleep." And then he stayed there, and he's like, what do you got? And it was just so funny because, I mean, the funny thing is Klopp sent him away, and then he went right back up over to hang out with his friends. So, I enjoy the City Pool rivalry. I'm looking forward to going to Anfield. I mean, it's always a hard one, but I'm looking forward to go there because definitely have a desire to recover those points that were dropped in this one. But you gotta just say, okay, they did what they needed to do. We didn't do what we needed to do. We move on. Champions League Tuesday. Let's get this thing done up, and hopefully some guys get back on the field. Since I think it's been released, De Bruyne will be back in January, so that's good. De Bruyne is back in January along with the rest of the guys. And credit to Haaland. I mean, I'm glad he's still tapping them in, and he's still leading the league, even though he's not good. He's not good. He's not world class. He's
a total bum.
And it's just the team. He's on a really good team.
Scored against a top side.
Yeah.
So he finally got rid of that.
Hey, you watch yourself.
Oh, but as I give shout out, Bernardo Silva played amazing in that game. Phil
Foden every time.
Phil Foden had a really good game. It's just a lot of guys played well. It's just it's how they go. Doku had a good game. It's up. You can name guys. They had good games. It's just.
I tell you, man, I was thinking to myself, I actually said this to myself during the match. I was like, I'd give every minute Kai Havertz has ever played to have Bernardo Silva in the Arsenal team. I would give every Chelsea recruit we've ever had to have Bernardo Silva in the Arsenal team. Like, dudes that, like, I know, like, these colors don't run and all that, but man's an absolute monster. Literally every time I watch Silva play, I'm like, God, I want him on my team. Please. God, why? There were rumors last summer, and I was salivating. Like, dude is a monster. Solid performance every time. He runs around like a banshee every single game. You know, he doesn't give the ball away very often. He's press resistant. It's so frustrating when Liverpool press and press and press and press and press, and then Silva drops a shoulder, spins a guy, and they're out.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, you weren't even 4 seconds ago. And yeah.
Well, he likes playing against him. If you watch the highlight reels against him, just watch whenever he plays them. I mean, he's always puts the show on against them. He loves playing against those guys.
Yeah, man. I'm a fan. I'm not a City fan by any stretch, but I'm a Bernardo Silva fan. That's for sure.
So are a lot of teams.
I was going to ask you, Lewis, what about how Pep reacted throughout this game? It really did feel like that he was unsure that y'all were actually playing to the level he expects y'all to.
Oh, but you can see it. I mean, at this point, but the thing is, you think about it, what can he do? Like, what changes could he make? Because if you look here on the bench, right, I mean, we were better than them the whole game. But, I mean, what do you do, right? But if you look at the bench, hold on, why is it not showing me the bench? Where's my bench? Because he didn't make any free.
Carson, Johnny Stones was on the bench. Gavardio, Calvin Phillips, Rico Lewis, Stefan Ortega, Oscar Bob, Sergio Gomez.
He put Stones on the bench because he didn't have enough players to fill the bench. So that's actually because he said that. He said that after the game, that's why Stones was on the bench. He said he wasn't fit to play at all. So he wasn't going to play. And you see the rest of the team is defenders, defensive-minded midfielders, and a youth guy who can play up front. But, I mean, is he ready for a Liverpool game? So, I mean, to your point, Patrick, yeah, you're frustrated, and he probably showed it, but what changes do you make? Because you're not putting the defensive-minded midfielder on to change anything.
You're not bringing Sergio Gomez on either.
But he's inconsistent, and while he's a left back, he's more of a midfielder, but who are you taking off for him?
Do you think he was trying to send a message to the decision makers that, hey, we got to be active in the January window?
I mean, yeah, but no, because when everybody, Pep always plays a short squad anyways. Normally City has 20 guys. He doesn't have a ton of guys on the team. One, to deal with the fact that guys will complain that they don't play, i.e. Cancelo, right? Even though that kind of squad rotation competition, obviously it does what it does to make you produce results. But, I think, one, they're going to be in the window this coming January. But, two, it's about figuring out where you're lacking because you can say, well, we're going to go in and we're going to go get an attacker. But then De Bruyne comes back. And then you just got all these guys coming back. And you're like, well, if I'm a guy, why do I come to City and I know this guy is coming back, right? Even though, obviously the issue is he's trying to figure out what is City's identity without a top 5 player in the world, which is really hard to kind of, dictate your team of how do you play without this guy? Because the fact that De Bruyne has spoiled us so much that we can see the runs that players are making that we're like De Bruyne would have made that pass. There's nobody else in the world who does that. And he's still at the top of his game. So it's about you can understand if he was washed and, you're like, well, I remember when he used to make that, but he's not a washed up player.
No.
So and there's no one player that you're going to bring in to replace that because Nunez was supposed to be that guy and he couldn't do it. And then you got.
Is he hurt? Why wasn't he in the game?
He's hurt too. Yeah. Everybody, all the people missing was hurt. All of them were hurt.
Do you think, and of course, De Bruyne is somebody you can't replace whatsoever. Do you think you're still looking for a replacement for Gundogan though?
Well, yes and no, because the thing is, the mix of what Gundogan was is really weird because City could have kept him, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then, you're like, when the tempo of the game changes, can he still produce that? Because what we're not going to do is pretend like there weren't games last year where he didn't play because the pace didn't fit him. So, we can go through rose-colored lenses and say, okay, well, yeah, we're missing him. Yeah, in big games, we're missing him. But, when we're talking about, just the slog through the season, there was plenty of games he didn't play. And so, people really have to have that realism, and Pep saw it. where he's like, look, man, we want you to come back, but we're going to do what we did with you last year. You're going to play 40 games. We're going to play about 55. You're going to play 40 of them. But you're going to play the big ones. And, for some guys, they're like, well, I want to get the consistency because of their ego, or they want to get consistency because they need it for their form. So, right. And you're not going to get a guy like Gundogan because these guys that City have had, Pep handpicked them, so he kind of molded them into who they are. And there's no other guy out there in this moment who can do that. What he did. I mean, he was hoping Kova could do it, but Kova's hurt, and Kova can't score. So
Yeah, that was what was so confusing about y'all wanting Kova. Like, Kova doesn't score. If he scores, it's going to be like, oh my gosh, how did he do that kind of scoring? He doesn't. He's not a tap-in merchant by any means.
But the signing made sense because it was assumed De Bruyne was going to be there with him because De Bruyne would have played in front of him. And if De Bruyne is there, then, we just need you to hold the ball to give it to Kevin or Rodri, and they'll do the rest of the work. But then De Bruyne is gone. And that's huge because they just needed him to be the distributor like Gundogan minus the goals. But he's not that right now either.
Well, I think though, without having somebody like a Gundogan, it one puts a ton more pressure on Rodri, but also it leaves him a little bit exposed too.
It does.
And I think that's where Pep gets a little bit more anxious when teams start to show some possession against y'all, because y'all don't give up a lot of possession in general. And before it was like, okay, Rodri, Stones, get it off of them, get it to Kevin, get it to Gundogan, and we'll get it forward and play it to Grealish or whatever, or Mahrez, and then of course Holland, and it worked. And right now it feels like that there's just some disjointedness, and even with bringing Kevin back, and again, you're not going to replace him whenever he does actually stop playing, but you're going to have to start thinking a little bit forward into the future, like, how do we adapt without Kevin? Because this is what, his second major injury.
Yeah, but I think this is about, like, you have to figure that out anyways, because, he saw when he got – Kevin was there before, even though the rumor is he told them to get Kevin before he got there. But nobody knew Kevin was going to be this, right? Like, you don't see a guy turning into this.
Right.
Like, you didn't see Gundogan. Gundogan was hurt all the time. And you didn't see Gundogan turning into this. When Mahrez first got there to City, Mahrez wasn't the Mahrez we knew. So these guys transformed into that. So there's a 50% of we're waiting for those guys to catch it, right? For example, Bernardo could do what Gundogan does. The issue is you need Bernardo forward. Yeah. And if Bernardo's forward, then who's going to replace him up front? And Grealish was out, so Grealish would have been that person, but he's not there. And I think there's a degree of that happening where they're trying to find different people, because Pep is forward thinking enough to say, okay, there's another guy. But I would guess that Foden is the guy, but he's tried to put Alvarez there. But the problem is that the guys that would use stick in the middle, they're hurt or they're injured. And so you can't do that, and you have to play guys where they are. And so, I give Pep a lot of credit, because if anybody else's team was missing the level of player that City was missing, I don't think they're where they are in the table at all. That's a huge miss. Yeah. De Bruyne counts for how many? If we say De Bruyne in how where's the table?
How many points have you dropped this year so far?
It's 13 games, and we got 29.
They have dropped 10 points.
So he's good for at least another 6.
But in addition to that, now put De Bruyne on anybody else's team with the weight of him on there. How many points do the other teams drop? They drop a ton of points. So,
yeah, most definitely. So what I'm saying, though, is like you said, Mahrez wasn't who he was. Gundogan wasn't who he was. Of course, Kevin wasn't who he was until he got to City, and he was molded by Pep. But it feels like y'all don't have that person right now where Pep's molding them to be the next Kevin, which, again, you're not going to replace him, but get somebody who can be equivalent. And I think that's the thing that, and not to bring Chelsea in it, but that's the thing that Chelsea struggled with. And they still struggle with. They never found a replacement for Didier Drogba. They haven't found a midfielder that they can rely on like Frank Lampard. Again, you're not going to get Frank Lampard. But having the ability to make that late run to score or to just be a calming presence in the midfield, you know.
I agree, but I'm going to take a different perspective of the good manager. The good manager knows that, you know what? Yeah, I'm never going to replace this guy, but I have to go on. Like, for example, think about Pep. People said Pep couldn't win without Messi. That's what they said.
Right.
And he gives Messi credit, but then you watch Pep and he molds this guy and this guy and this guy. And it's just him evolving to say, okay, well, I got to figure out how this guy can make this team a good team. And so I think we get kind of caught up in, well, you got to replace this guy. But I think Pep is more about the system, because if you see how the system evolved as De Bruyne was starting to shift out, he started to invert other guys that played that role in midfield. This is where he was like, okay, De Bruyne is gone, but I'm going to stick Stones in here. Let Stones do what he does. Rodri, you can start going forward. So he's been proactive about it, where he's gone with the team concept of replacing guys so the team can still have moving parts. But it's just that, like you mentioned Drogba, you mentioned Lampard, that it's just these guys are hard to replace. So I think Pep is doing a good job, because he's done with Phil Jackson or Belichick or whatever has done, or even Ferguson, where he's like, yo, I just got to have guys plug and play. This is our system. We're going to lean it this way because you're in here. And when you're not here, we're going to lean it this way. And as long as we keep getting the results, because as long as we're sitting here at the top of the table and we're close and we still got to play the teams around where we can get points off them, I mean, it's going to be rough and ugly, but I'll take that until we get like the full complement of that. But then in addition to that, Pep also is aware he's going to leave at some point. So you want to have a foundation of players who can play so they can fit just about anybody. So you want to have quality there. And so, I mean, I think Foden has probably always been his guy, that he really, really wants to do it, but he can't put him there, because imagine sticking Foden in there and letting Foden do the thing, assuming De Bruyne is not back, and then De Bruyne comes back. Where do you got to move Foden out?
You got to change it all back.
But then it ruins Foden's flow, and we've already seen that happen to Foden. So I agree with you, Patrick. Though it's something that I'm sure it frustrates him, but at the same time, I think this is why he's one of the best managers ever to do it. That he's constantly working on other guys to get him there.
Yeah, and again, it was just, I never had seen Pep be that antsy in a game where he was leading. Usually he's laid back. Usually he'll get up and he'll, hey, let's do this, let's do that. He'll call somebody over, let's switch this up. But I mean, the dude was having anxiety attacks almost, and I can empathize with that.
Mr. Consistency, Alvarez played horribly. If Alvarez finished half the chances, we smoked them.
Right.
So you got guys playing bad. You don't have no replacements for them. I would be antsy too. But I hear you, man.
It was just weird. Just after watching Pep for so long to see him like that, and it just made me wonder, like, have all the injuries become too much of a toll, and that's why he also put the lineup that he did on the bench, because hey, we ain't got enough depth, y'all. We need to make some moves here. So, yeah. But no, I just wanted to get your perspective on it.
Yeah, I think that I think one of the big things to your point, Lewis, is that Pep kind of has his eye on everything, the past, the future included, the here and now. He knows that Kevin won't be around forever. He knows that he won't be around forever, but the fact that he wants to build that foundation is very clear with the way he's run the club, with the way the whole City group is run, and the way he just always brings in the next guy whenever they sell a Gundogan or they sell a Jesus or Cancelo or, or Zinchenko goes, you just bring in the next guy, So, yeah, I think that I'm still scared of you. I'm still scared of you guys, especially when when De Bruyne comes back, when Stones is healthy,
Well, that will be fun for anybody.
When everybody's good to go. Yes, it'll be a little different.
It'll be fun for me. I'm gonna love it.
Yeah, absolutely. But as of right now, as it stands, you did say something about the top of the table.
Yeah, man.
And here we are sitting pretty after a very, very tough professional performance, I'll call it, away to the Bees at the G-Tech Stadium. I've heard a lot of negative things from Arsenal fans about this game.
It was tough.
And
yeah,
I didn't expect it to be. It went exactly as I expected it to go. To be honest, look at the Chelsea game. We knew it was gonna be super low block FC. Like at the beginning of the season, we thought it would be Everton. We thought it might be Burnley. We thought Kompany might switch it up and do a low block thing. Sheffield's got kind of a low block. Luton plays a bit of a mid to low block. We thought we might see, some of this from someone else. But Brentford's become super low block FC. I don't know about all that, but that's what they are these days. And I mean, they were literally like setting up tents on the top of the box. The amount of space that the amount of ground and territory that they just gave us was incredible. But having said that, they did defend well, and I think a lot of not just Arsenal fans, but football, soccer fans in general do not respect the low block enough. They don't respect how difficult it is to play without space. There's no space. There's none. Jesus, ghost. You know why? Because there were 4 guys around him the whole time he was on the whole game. 4 guys, the whole game. They played a 5-3-2. And it was they were all clogged into the middle of the park. There's no space. So of course we're not going to be fluid and incisive and lots of penetrating passes that look slick, and we're just bopping it around and moving in and out. No one's going to look like that against Brentford. No one, especially not at Brentford. And so to say that a team is poor because they struggled against a low block is just, it's disingenuous and narrow, is what it is. You gotta look at, just because one team hasn't produced as much doesn't mean they were crap and you ignore the other team. For example, a lot of the times it is clear one team is good, one team is crap. But then there are games like Spurs Villa where both teams were pretty good. Spurs weren't bad at all, but Villa were just better. And that, I think that's a little bit rare where the game isn't decided on mistakes, but in the Arsenal game, Brentford were good, but we figured out, I think more so as the game wore on, we began to put in crosses, towards the back post. I don't think we took on the outside backs enough. You know how I always preach about beating low blocks by attacking the outsides, attacking the wings where there's at least a little bit of space. I don't think we did that enough. I don't think Saka and Martinelli did that enough, but I'm not sure they're being encouraged to do that enough, especially since Tomiyasu does not overlap like Ben White does. And I don't mind Tomiyasu starting in the right back position. I'm not sure against a deep counter-attacking team that we have to have that extra cover, which is what I think Tomiyasu provides as a better defender than both Ben White and Zinchenko overall. But I thought Zinchenko was fantastic. He definitely looked comfortable in there. Looked like he was passing it around well. Definitely kind of controlling things there on the left. I thought Trossard in the 8 role was, yet another. Someone goes in there in the left side at 8 and doesn't really. I mean, it's not his position, so I don't fault Trossard. I thought he was decent. I thought he does the same kind of things he normally does. Able to link up play, came back well. He just doesn't. Just the way Xhaka defined that role last season, we haven't had anyone hit that. Kai is he's got half the profile for it. He doesn't have the defensive side of it. Trossard definitely doesn't have the defensive side of it. Vieira doesn't have that defensive steal. They can do the things Xhaka was doing going forward. He only had 7 goals, 7 assists last season, which are good numbers. But for his position and for Granit Xhaka, but when you look at say that last ditch tackle he's made that got played over and over and over again, none of those guys I've just mentioned are making that challenge. Obviously Declan Rice is, but Declan Rice isn't meant to be playing in that left side at 8, and he's been the best to play that role so far this season. But I don't. I guess I didn't mind that performance there. Nobody really wants that spot, I guess. And as far as who starts there next, it's probably Kai, to be honest with you. But yeah, I don't know. That's definitely still a hole in the formation. I don't think it really hurt us too much against Brentford. As I said, there wasn't much space to work with. But I was calling out for someone to make the back post run. Because both Martinelli and Saka, while they weren't necessarily taking on the outside backs and trying to get to the byline, they were working the cross from the corner of the box. Odegaard had a couple as well. And if we would have had back post runners, we would have won 4-0. And so in the middle of the second half, I'm screaming for somebody to make a back post run. There was one where Martinelli does a little jink, goes to the right, cuts it back to the right, and puts in a beautiful curler to the back post. And Saka, Trossard, and Odegaard are all standing there watching the ball soar past him. I was infuriated. I was like, what are y'all doing? Someone gamble. Honestly, when the left winger has the ball and goes in for the cross, whose job is it to hit that back post? It's the opposite winger, Mr. Starboy. Where you at, buddy? Where are you? 3 different times. You should have been the guy on the back post. But the super sub, Agent Kai, finally. Oh, I did. I did in my reaction. I most certainly did showed him the love. There's a lot of fans out there that were upset that it was Kai that won the game. I am not one of those fans. I am not.
Every week, X says something about Kai, and then.
I don't like him. I don't all of a sudden like him or think that he's the best thing since sliced bread.
Didn't say you didn't like him.
The one goal he's gonna get. I mean, he's only gonna get 6 of these all season.
Well, here's the first one.
Oh my God! I was, I'm of the opinion that if you're wearing the Arsenal shirt, I want to see you do good. But I'm also, if you're not doing good, I'm not just gonna say, oh, you're great because you're wearing the Arsenal shirt. If you're crap, I'm gonna call you crap, and he's been crap. But this is the best 10 minutes. Apart from the goal, he's getting slack for not. I thought that he had a good 10 minutes. I thought that he had some good touches that you don't normally see him do. Some progressive plays that normally he just taps them back. There was one moment where I had looked away for a second and then I looked back and the man on the ball received the pass, kind of jukes to the left a little bit, but then spins to the right and lays it off for Zinchenko. And I had to check. I was like, was that? Oh my God, that was Kai Havertz. Wow, that was actually a nice play. Well done. All right, there you go.
I
go,
didn't know
man.
you could do that.
Yeah, right. I thought he got into some good positions. He was definitely getting stuck in. Couple of good challenges. And he comes in and gets the game winner. As a sub, $65 million or not doesn't matter when you need someone to impact the game, someone to change the game, someone to come on and win the game, and frankly do what no one else in an Arsenal shirt was doing. That's what he's done. Arteta's obviously, hey, we're not doing this. I need you to come on and do this. I need you to win the game. He's done every single bit of that. So you got to give him his props. You got to give him his flowers for coming on in a clutch moment, getting a massive goal. And, I'm not all of a sudden going to bow down and worship the man. But, I definitely am very happy for him. Very happy we won the game. It's a huge 3 points. To go top of the table, no less, and I think that, what we need now is for him to kick on, to find some consistency, consistency of performance. I'm not asking you to score 25 goals. No one expects you to score 25 goals. No one expects you to score 10. I'm not sure anyone expects you to score 5 goals, dude. So that might be, a happy surprise. But if you can, put in a shift over 90 minutes that looks like that 10-minute cameo week in and week out, that I can be brought around. Of course I can. I don't hate people forever unless your name's Mesut Ozil. So I mean, no, I didn't say that was a Freudian slip. I didn't even say that out loud, actually. I don't, so he hasn't done anything for 3.5 seasons, and now he's finally done something, and I'm pumped. I'm excited for him, but he's got to continue. Take this off. He's got to continue. He's got to push on and continue to perform, continue to show that he has that kind of impact in him, and hopefully he can do that. I thought that once again. There's definitely an issue with our progression on the right-hand side. Yes, it's the first game back from injury for Martin, but he looked lively. It's just kind of the same. He looked lively. He made some, so I thought he had a better performance than he has in the past few weeks. But I definitely thought that they were working some good stuff down the right to get those crosses in. So I wasn't upset with the performance. I thought, he can be better. But again, you always have to take it into consideration when you're playing against such a low negative team, such a low block. But, hey, in the end, champions pull out and win games like that where, it's really, really tough. You struggle, on the surface, it didn't look like you play that well, but you come away from home with the 3 points. It's massive. I'm pumped about it, really. Top of the table. Can't ask for much more. It wasn't, wasn't lighting it up. It's not the game of the season. Nobody's going to go back and watch that one again. Nobody, you're not going to look at that. Look at that come to the end. Oh man, what a barn burner that one was. But we got the business done. Needed to do it. Tough place to go, and as I'm sure you all know. And yeah, so I'm happy. We look forward to Lens on. I think we play on Wednesday, and we can clinch the Champions League group. So top of the table, top of the Champions League group, sitting pretty. Good times, And on top of that. People are like, oh, Arsenal haven't been that great. Yeah, we haven't been that great. We've put up 30 points, and we're about to win the Champions League group. Fine by me. Fine by me. We don't got to play great. Let me lift the trophy, and we'll be crap all season and lift the trophy. I'm cool with that. I'm 100% cool with that. But yeah, as you can see, good time to be an Arsenal fan. I'm very happy. And speaking of another thing that just made me quite happy, another wonderful game that made me Just so happy. Spurs give it away to Villa.
Man.
You know, that might be hard. That might be harsh to say that they gave it away, but this was a fantastic game. This was a really top notch, high quality game. A very good advert for the Premier League. Just a good advert for the sport in general. And as much as I hate to do this, as much as I hate for this segment to start like this, you got to give credit for the bravery to Big Ange. You got to give credit for the fact that, depleted as they were with, I mean, does Scrubstitutes, like expression says, even get there? Like, they talk about a skeleton crew from Spurs, and they were really good in that first half.
Hey, man, they stuck to their game plan, man. I'm gonna give
You said it earlier, Lewis, talking about Pep and Klopp and being able to plug and play, and Ferguson, talking about these guys where you could just put in the next guy and you're still playing the system. When I watched the Wolves game, I thought they were in so much trouble with Sarr being in their creative midfielder. They looked awful in that game. I was like, yes, if this is the result of all this, it's going to be fantastic. Yeah. But then they come out and Bentancur, man, I told you guys, Bentancur makes a difference, makes a massive difference in that midfield. Before injured again, though.
Yeah.
He's gone down injured again. He comes back after an ACL after 8-9 months and for like 40 minutes.
Snake bitten, man.
I mean, objectively, that is just awful. You know, you don't wish injuries on anybody, but I don't hate that Spurs are struggling right now. But man, you feel bad for the guy because he was their best player before he's gone down. But you have to credit Aston Villa. You have to credit Unai Emery. I thought that the way he set up in the beginning with it was off the ball. Villa were in a 5-3-2 where when they would get the ball in transition, their forwards were Diaby and Watkins, right? Mm-hmm. And so when they'd get the ball, Diaby would get really, really wide.
Yeah.
And it was leaving a lot of space. And so when Spurs would turn the ball over quickly, there was a ton of space for them to get forward real quick, to move through the lines. And so they were peppering the goal. Just shot after shot. They hit the bar like in the third minute, like just peppering the goal, and ended up getting the opener. And they were valued for it. They absolutely were. But I think Villa battled. It was a battle in that first half. They held on a bit and were able to. The free kick, man. Another disgusting free kick. I'm telling you, bro, if Arsenal signed Douglas Luiz, I am begging the football gods to bring him to London. It'll never happen. Villa would be crazy to sell Douglas Luiz. And they could get.
They are in the table now.
They're fourth. They're tied with Liverpool in third place, bro. Exactly. They would be insane. They'd be insane to sell him. But I would love it. I would absolutely love it. But the way Emery has handled himself, the way Unai has emboldened and bolstered and rejuvenated, resurrected even this Aston Villa team, has got Arsenal fans like, should we have kept them?
You've heard the banter that some guy, I forget it was I don't want to call it Talk Sport because I don't want to slag them off, but it was somebody who said if Emery was at Arsenal last year, they win the title. Which I don't. I mean, that's a lot of guesswork. But I mean, if this Emery was there, I'm inclined to agree with that.
Yes.
I think there's a lot to be said. Players can obviously improve and get better, but so too can managers. And so I think that maybe the Emery of four years ago was not right for Arsenal.
I think they motivated him to get better. I think that event made him good because the tear he went on after that.
Yeah, he lost the Europa League final to you guys, and then won the next 3 times.
Yep.
With Sevilla, back to back to back. And so while you might question Emery's ability to win a 38-game season, with the little asterisks because he's against freaking Barcelona and Real Madrid every season,
Yep.
Since he's come in, only City are better since Emery has gotten to Villa. But that's, obviously he deserves his praise, and he definitely deserves his praise for this game because he switches Diaby for Tielemans.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought in another, I think he brings in Konsa, or he might have switched out Konsa.
He put on Leon Bailey.
And that's what it was. He put on Leon Bailey as well. And Leon Bailey was playing in the right mid, the far right mid, not the second striker position. Tielemans was playing in the second striker position. And instead of Tielemans providing that width, he provided an extra body in the center of the midfield, and it bogged Spurs down completely. Villa were far superior in the second half. And they got their goal and won the game. And like that switch was like it changed the game completely. And Villa were on top for the rest of the game. And I was so impressed. Just so impressed with the way they controlled that game away from home in a nasty environment. And then Ollie Watkins, man.
He's on fire, man.
Did you see this goal?
Yeah.
Fire, man.
It when you look at this goal, if you haven't ever played and you haven't ever played striker, if you haven't ever like really tried to score goals day in and day out, game in and game out, you're not really sure. You don't really understand how difficult it is. Like he didn't even put his foot down. He didn't put his right foot down. He touches the ball and then shoots before his foot goes down again. So quick. There's no way Vicario could even hell of a goal. Just wonderful finish. Thierry Henry would be so proud. No, man. Yeah, I got mad respect for Ollie Watkins. Dude's a machine. Dude's an absolute machine. And Villa, look out.
Yep.
I'm telling you right now, man.
Something that's interesting is that the narrative that's come from this has been pretty interesting because I mean, obviously Emery deserved the respect, but I mean, you mentioned Postecoglou, like the thing that this narrative for him is he's the first manager to go. I think he won 10 games and then lose the next 4, something along those lines, and to win the manager of the season the first 3 months or 4 months, and then this. And it's like, I mean, yes, I mean, the narrative of Spursiness, it fits it. But I mean, he's doing some work there, man. We got to give this guy credit on how good he is and how we all look as, spectators and be like, man, what are you doing? And then he just shows that, the work that he's put in Spurs and then the work that he's done at Celtic, however you want to pronounce it. The guy knows what he's doing. So, I mean, while you're hard pressed to see me root for them. The liking a manager is a different thing. Like I like Klopp, he complains about the wind and the grass and stuff, but overall, if I had another manager, I'd take Klopp in a heartbeat. And so I look at Postecoglou and I'm like, this guy's really good. And so, I mean, I'm kind of disappointed. I mean, I understand, I'm a grown up, I understand the lay of the land, and that's what they got to do to sell clicks. But I'd still, when their team is healthy, I think they're legitimate now. I think they're legitimate as long as they take care of filling that team with players that he asked for. I think they'll be pretty decent going forward. But I think Villa, as you said, using that Jack Grealish money, is doing the work, man. And much credit to him for hiring a good manager and having good players produce when they're supposed to produce.
Yeah, I think the biggest indicator of how good Spurs actually are this season and how impressive they were in that loss yesterday, being depleted with no Romero, no Van der Ven, the way that they clogged the midfield totally bamboozled Villa in the first half. With Udogie was almost in the 10 at times. They inverted both their fullbacks when they had the ball. Inverted both of them. So Pedro Porro had a fantastic game. Like, I really, really just cannot stand him. I don't like him at all. Just, ugh. But he had a great game. He was very, very good. Udogie was good. Their double inversion thing was crazy. But they were bogging down the midfield, and John McGinn wasn't in this game at all. In that first half, John McGinn barely got on the ball. But they were able to work it to him in the second half with the tactical switch and Tielemans connecting things, and they had a lot more of the ball and controlled the game in the second half. But there was two different times, I counted them, where they were able to get McGinn the ball in behind the midfielders, and he was able to play a pass out to the wide man on the left, just twice the whole first half.
Wow.
And so the biggest indicator is that I'm like super sour about it, about the fact that I understand from what I've seen in so far from Postecoglou, he's here to stay.
Yep.
He will be there long term.
Yep.
And they're gonna be decent long term.
Mm-hmm.
You can already see that with the fact that the likes of Giovanni Lo Celso comes in to score the goal.
Now, it did take a pretty big deflection.
Sure, but they deserved it. They were valued for the goal.
Right, I get that. I'm just saying, It took a little luck.
And Mud Dog?
Yeah.
A fantastic goal. It was
Mud Dogs was intentional as well. So
Hey man, off of Ake's face, win, right?
Hey man.
Hey, that was an awesome deflection.
Awesome deflection.
And I'm so glad we got super lucky.
There you go.
Speaking of luck, how unlucky is Son, man?
This guy, man.
Sonny absolutely bags 3? 4?
Yeah, he had a hat trick of offsides goals.
4?
And and the fourth offsides he didn't score it.
He didn't score it. That's what it was.
Yeah, but he was offsides 4 times.
He was camping, man. He took a page out of Raheem Sterling's book.
Yeah, Emery was like, "Oh, Postecoglou's high line, yeah. Hold my beer."
Hold my beer.
Yeah, and they played it to perfection. They played it very well. They did very well, and so did Spurs. That's why people are like, "Oh, Postecoglou shouldn't play the high line."
No,
Villa didn't score on a break.
Nope.
Villa didn't score on a fast break. They didn't get in behind the high line.
Surprisingly, could have.
Not even once.
Could have twice.
I mean, Watkins had an offsides goal, so just one. But the 2 goals they scored, nope.
Right.
It's just great play. One was a free kick, and one was great play from the forward. So, credit Villa.
I know that we discussed Postecoglou last week, and I remember saying, he's had 2 weeks to kind of figure out how to live life without Madison and Van der Ven, and and just see him being able to find something that worked is impressive. And like you said, he's here to stay, unless Levy runs him off, which is always possible.
That is always possible. So there's that.
He's a handful to deal with from what it sounds like. But I mean, again, their brand's fun to watch. Unfortunately,
You watch your mouth.
I know, right? But we hope that they lose every game and they can look good while losing them. So
I'll take that.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that. Speaking of looking good, for the very first time this season, the greatest team to ever grace the pitch.
It's kicked while they're down, rolling in the mud. Everton.
You say that. I get that you say it's only Everton. But let's think about this. They've just had a 10-point deduction. Their fans are in the stands with Premier League Lion, and it's a red card that has the Premier League Lion and it says corrupt on it. Mm-hmm. So it's a cauldron already. There's protests. There's just anger. Imagine playing against a team that's already pissed. It's like we're ready to knock someone's heads off. Who's up today? I don't care. Let's
injured today. We don't care. We're going out with a bang. Yeah.
And then for Man U to come into that,
they opened the game
and Garnacho.
That's how you open it.
That's
how you open it.
You've said it all season, though, about United. It is just one person's moment of greatness that keeps winning them these games.
But that wasn't this game. That's not how this game went at all. That's not how this game went at all. It was.
That's the way to start.
It was pretty even. And then an absolute wonder goal. Like, best goal of his career, best goal of the season for sure. There won't be a better one. I'll bet the house on it right here, right now. There will not be a better goal this season. Not in the Champions League, not in the Premier League, not in the MLS, not in my backyard. No, nowhere. There's ain't no way. Because that was magnificent.
I would like to see you attempt to try to score that goal.
I break myself. I'm not trying to do that. No way, man. 10 years ago, I might have gone for it, but no, there's no way. That was incredible. Like, I watched. I saw a Man United fan on Instagram post the question: "Was this the greatest Man United goal ever?" And they put up some candidates next to it. And back to back, I watched the Garnacho bike and the Rooney bike. Sorry, Runebug. But I mean, Garnacho's is a full scissor. He's had to come back for it.
Katana have like a ridiculous goal though that was.
They've scored some ridiculous ones. I mean, Rooney to Van Persie in 2013. The Rooney hits it from the halfway line, and RVP just over his shoulder volleys it on top of the box against Everton. Absolutely not Everton. I forget who it was. Fulham, I think, but it was absolutely gross. Obviously, Rooney's bike, Beckham's goal from halfway. Like, they've scored some crazy goals. Cristiano Ronaldo's rocket versus Porto in the Champions League from 40 yards.
Bang.
But this one, man, this Garnacho goal is special.
I mean, this is one of those goals that when you're like, okay, this is how a bicycle kick should be completed. Like, it's the
training video for the bicycle kick. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
What was interesting is I think it was Arturo Vidal, and if it's not him, forgive me for that. But I think it was Arturo Vidal was like, "Hey man, the goal was really cool, but he ruined it by doing the Ronaldo celebration." First of all, sir, don't nobody care about the celebration because I remember the goal. The celebration means nothing to me. Nothing. He's like, "Well, you got to come up with your own thing." Well, he did because no one's done what he did. Just that.
No. Yeah.
Just get off the celebration. Get on the goal. Stop.
Look, for me,
that's why he's gonna do the Ronaldo, bro. I mean, that's his idol.
He loves Ronaldo. For me,
yeah.
For me, like first of all, exactly X. That's his idol. He wants to.
If I score a Premier League goal, I don't care what team I'm on. I'm doing the Drogba.
There you go.
Run to the corner flag.
Secondly, if you score a goal like that, you can pull your pants down and take a crap in the goal. I don't care what celebration you do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I was going crazy, and I hate Manchester United.
Yep.
Dude, when you score a goal like that, you celebrate however you want. I'm sure Cristiano Ronaldo was like,
well done, my boy.
yeah, even Ronaldo was like, thanks for the tribute, bro, because
wow.
Yeah, man, that was incredible. But having said all that, for the first half, and definitely after the goal to halftime, I was with you, X. I was like, man, this is a typical
United game.
Typical United performance. They've just had their moment of magic early in the game.
Right, instead of late on.
But I don't know what he said. I don't know what maybe Ten Hag did the phone in because Ten Hag was in the stands too. I don't know if you guys realize that, but
why the boys played well after halftime.
I don't know if he did a phone in, a speakerphone, win one for the Gipper at halftime. But man, they improved dramatically. They were far superior in the second half. Like I didn't like it. You didn't.
They let Sancho give the halftime.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you didn't. I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to see it, but they were absolute value for the 3-0. It was one of those where we've been the better team all day. They defended really well. Like Harry Maguire had a good game,
but he's had a couple of good games now.
He has had a couple of good games on the spin. You know, you got to call him out credit where it's due. He had a decent game, and definitely led the line well. I didn't like to see it. I was like, man, they're passing it around. They're looking decent. But I will say that when Bruno gave Rashford the penalty, which is debatable, I think that it's really tough to call that back, but I also think that Martial left his boot in. He does get kicked, but it was almost like he's like hit his own foot on the defender. So that one, but when Bruno gave the ball to Rashford to take the pin, I was like, oh, okay, Kai Havertz. You know, and credit to Rashford, he smashed it in. The hell of a penalty. And then he was embarrassed. The same kind of non-celebration that Kai gave when we gave him a penalty versus Bournemouth. He was just kind of like, okay, thanks. You know, yeah. Yeah. You know, because both those guys, same amount of goals. That's rough company you're keeping there, Rashford. But yeah, and then to cap it off, and definitely from there, they were just after the second goal, Everton lost all hope, lost all spirit.
Oh yeah, they did.
But man, they're finally value for. I feel like this is Man U's by far their best performance of the season. Even with the 30 minutes of after the I think even they were stunned, shell shocked by the wonder goal. You know, and to be fair, Garnacho didn't do much else. No. I mean, you don't really need to do much else.
Like you said, I would have gotten subbed off. I would have just been like, yeah, I'm done for the day.
At halftime, be like, look, I've done my bit.
Yeah, did my part.
Yeah.
I mean, you would have to. I would literally have to, like, after I hit one like that, you almost need to like look at your coach and be like, yo, I'm kind of out of it, man. Like,
yeah, my head's gone. Like, I'm not doing that again.
Not doing that again. I'm not hitting one anywhere near as clean as that. I'm done.
Oh my goodness, yeah. But Man U roll on 5 wins in 6. They're actually only 6 points off the top in 6th place.
Disgusting.
It's very disgusting. Who would have thunk it after the start they had?
Wait a minute. I did because I said they've been always at the top of the table for some reason. And I don't particularly care for them either. But hey, man, they've been there because dynasties and like TV shows. And
are we the farmers?
We the farmers, exactly.
Well, you know, I was actually going to make a point. If you think about the last few things we said when we talked about teams at the top of the table, we're like, yeah, they're injured, they haven't played that well. Yeah, you know, that wasn't the best thing, but we got our points. It's kind of there, man. Like none of the teams at the top are really, really good. Like, I mean, they're all like the walking wounded, and so you look at it, which for you Chelsea guys, this should give you all the hope in the world because the top teams are not playing like top teams. And so you just got to catch a run. Wherever your run is, you just got to catch one and you'll be up there too, man.
It's after this break. Or after
because
January.
It just if you're looking at the top, like for example, the other team up there is hold on.
There's no one that's really. I mean, Villa probably like look the best.
Right. If you're looking at the top,
looking great. Brighton aren't looking great. United have looked crap. Tottenham have dropped off. Yeah. City aren't at the best. Arsenal not at the best. Liverpool, don't have a center defensive midfielder.
It's kind of open.
And the only other team above you guys is West Ham.
Yeah, it's just kind of open, man. And you get Brighton, so you can make up some of those
points right there. Brighton, right?
But to your point about walking wounded, we have to give a shout out to Kobe, or I think it might be Cody Mainu, 18 years old, man of the match for Manchester United.
Wow,
19 years old, maybe. Even it was not on the score sheet, but easily man of the match for me. A young kid that I literally was like, who is this geezer? Like, who is that? I've never even heard of him. Turns out he was injured in preseason and was like in the plans. Because now that I think about it, dude was really good when United beat us preseason 2-0. This kid, I remember him now from that game. He was decent in that preseason game. I didn't think much of it because obviously it was a preseason game, but he was good. He was good versus Everton, and he will be a part of the future at Man U for sure. I don't know if we'll see him against Galatasaray because they've got to win. They have to win. And I don't know why you wouldn't see him. He was your best player, so maybe they will. Maybe they will. Yes, but we will move. Let's see what's another good one. Brighton get the win at Forest, 3-2 in an absolute barn burner of a game. They needed this one too, man. Despite the absolute and utter, despite having Serginho Dest playing for you, Dunk with an absolute madness. Once again, when they're winning, what is it with? Okay, I know you gave a penalty away. You're winning 2-1, and he gives a penalty away, right? And to be fair, it was soft. A lot of the pens this weekend were soft. But actually, I think they might have been up 3-1 at the time when he gives the penalty away. So you're up 2 goals, and your team has just faced a hard. And then so you go over and you call the manager something I'm not sure we should say. Mike,
a mushroom head.
Yes. We'll go with that. Yeah. He's called him something Anthony Taylor did not take too kindly to. And if you go back and watch it in real time, Anthony Taylor does like he's hurt his neck. He's done a double take so fast. Yeah. So when Dunk said that, Anthony Taylor was immediately like, F this guy.
Yep.
Because it was like this. Anthony Taylor's walking this way, he goes. You could see it on his face. Like he turned right into the camera and you could see me go, did you just say me? What did you like for a second I'm like, is Taylor about to throw bows? Like is he about to he looked mad. You can't say things like that to the referee. No. And it's Anthony Taylor of all refs that you're gonna antagonize.
Yep.
Come on, man.
Not the one to do it to.
But I think this game was very much like most Brighton games this season. All over the place, open, back and forth, very entertaining stuff. Forest at home, man. They're a problem. They're tougher than you might think. You know, for a team that struggled last season, you know, down near the bottom. This was a tough game, but a very good win for Brighton. In the end, you know, you look at it on paper, you're like, good win. They should be winning that game, but it's only their second win in 8 games, and so they needed it, like for the morale, for the points, obviously. You know, so they stopped plummeting down the table. It's but I think that to get this win in that series, I mean, it was a holding on, held on in the end. And I mean, Gibbs White with the penalty to get it to 2. That's a high pressure situation for sure. And he's able to convert. I think that he's having a good season. Morgan Gibbs White's definitely having a good season. Yeah, they'll feel frustrated with that one. Forest, that is. But massive win for Brighton, man. You got to give them credit. It's always there. It's still there despite their just crazy injuries. Like injuries just all across the league, man. Just decimated.
Swiss cheese, man.
Matoma's out. Welbeck's out. Like Veltman came back, so that was good.
Stupion's out.
Stupinjan's out. Enciso's out. Dunk's facing a 2-match ban for this.
If not, it's that plus a fine. Like,
well, no, I just saw the article. It is a 2-match ban. He might get a fine. He may get in and a fine as well. But
I mean, if calling a ref isn't throwing the game into what was
disrepute?
Disrepute. I don't know what is.
I actually had to look up the insult. It was funny. I didn't know what it meant, but now I do. And you can't say things like that.
To referees, yep.
But yes, to referees. I can say it to you if I.
We can
if I
say
want
it
to.
to us all we want. Yes.
But
I've been called way worse by you on the field after team-on-team violence. I think you almost got a card for unsportsman for yelling at us.
Why are you bringing up old stuff? But yeah, definitely a good win for Brighton. They needed it big time. Speaking of massive wins that you just did not see coming.
Lutton.
Eze's back. Elise's back.
Lutton.
And you lose to Luton Town.
This might keep them in the league, man.
What a win! What a win for Luton. I have actually
just like how Millwall's Road seems to be a little bit of a difficult place to visit.
A little bit, yeah. I was lucky enough this weekend. I've actually taken in every single game. I got to watch all 90 minutes of every game. Palace were really, really bad in this game. They were so poor, man. Like, Eze and Elise come back in, and you're like, okay, they're going to score goals. They're going to be decent in front of the goal.
Wrong.
Woeful. They couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat. It was bad. It was very poor. Conversely, both of Luton's goals were quality, and the tactics from Rob Edwards, spot on. Spot on. He was getting, and it was very simple and obvious from the get-go what they were doing. They were targeting the right-hand side and getting crosses in. All game. And they were having success. All game. Dude, the ball that my guy has played for the game-winning goal.
That's an incredible ball.
Kevin De Bruyne would be proud, dude. The goal was absolutely fantastic. And the guy, I think it was Morris. Was it Morris who scored?
I think so.
I can't remember. It might have been Ogbene might have been who scored. He just throws himself at it. He just does absolutely everything he can to get on the end of it. Because the cross deserved a finish, and it got it, and fair play to him, man. But that's such a massive win for Luton. I think they,
9
out of the
points.
bottom, 9 points
17th place.
out of the bottom.
Told you, man.
Yeah. Hey, I had Luton as the worst team
Oh, I thought you had
in
Sheffield.
history.
If they
No.
stay up,
I said Luton would be worse.
Oh, if they keep these points from Everton the entirety, like they may
Dude.
take it all the way to the end.
Worth so much to them.
So big game.
Yeah, that's massive. That's such a big win for Luton. And I don't know, man. I don't know. That home form, dude. The problem, this is the Premier League for you. Crystal Palace comes to town, right? Great performance. You execute the tactics. Coach looks a genius. Win the game. Massive 3 points at home versus Crystal Palace. Arsenal are next.
Blasted.
And then Man City.
Blasted.
Their next two fixtures.
Sorry,
Arsenal
boys.
and Man City.
See, I think the
make up
problem
for
with
some
going to
stuff.
Luton, I think the real problem with going to Luton is that since it's designed like most of our practice pitches are, they just think that their practice, this is just a Sunday scrimmage.
No, that's exactly what it was. No, you've got that spot on. That's what happened to Palace.
Yep.
It's 100% what happened to Palace.
There's no way. This is a Sunday scrimmage. Yeah.
No, they played down. Like you love to say Chelsea are notorious for doing. 100% what Palace did. They showed up. We're going to smack them. And they got smacked themselves. Yep. Big credit for Rob Edwards and Luton Town. But we will stay down there in the basement. Bournemouth smash Sheffield. And the 3-1 is flattering to Sheffield. Bournemouth dominated this game. I was shocked at the tactics from Sheffield. They were so open. They have not played that open in any other game.
No, they've been very
in
defensive.
any other game. They've set, and this is
you get 3 points.
I was shocked, man. But what it does prove is that Sheffield, they can't play open.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't be open and beat Bournemouth, like if you can't play with Bournemouth, no disrespect to Bournemouth, who have always tried to be open.
Mm-hmm.
They don't sit back at all. Areola doesn't have them sitting back at all. When at home to Arsenal, they didn't sit back at all. And so they obviously go to Sheffield. They're not going to sit back. They're going to be open, and they were, and they played some good stuff in that really interesting blue and yellow kit from Bournemouth.
Yeah,
It's like, why does Arsenal have a lime green? It's the same. We have a lime green kit. They're in blue and yellow. There's not even any blue and yellow in the.
You're a yellow traffic cone. That's what
y'all do look like a ran over. Y'all look like a ran over traffic cone.
Yeah, ours is just dumb. But Bournemouth, man, Tavernier, couple of goals pops up. He hasn't scored in a long while. Pops up with a couple of goals. Could have had a hat trick. Sheffield's goal, like I said, came late.
What is this second goal, though? I mean, what is the keeper doing? Like that's bounced out of the box. Put that sucker 12 rows up. Get your defense into play. Don't try to play it and then I went back and I watched it 3 times because I'm like, okay, maybe there's someone. There's nobody there.
No, there's no one there. There's no explanation. There's no explanation for that one, man.
Yeah. We talk about players having madness. Like that was a madness from the keeper.
Yeah, you left holding your hands. Like if you're Heckenbottom, at one point they showed Paul Heckenbottom going, like he'd lean back going, like he hadn't actually said anything to anyone. He didn't actually make any noise, but you could tell in his mind he was going. Because I mean, what I can't tell you what he was doing on that one. There's no telling. But again, this is a massive result for Bournemouth. Definitely, I feel like distancing themselves as far as from the eye test, not necessarily points wise. They are 7 points ahead of Sheffield, who are in 18th. So definitely kind of separating themselves from the lower 4 there. right on the heels of Nottingham Forest. Kind of right in there, edging to be part of the next little block as opposed to being the bottom block. So definitely a huge 3 points for Bournemouth. Sheffield, lots of trouble. A lot of trouble. They have given 34 goals already.
Not if Burnley keeps giving
this
goals.
season. Well, Burnley have given 32 goals.
Hmm.
And segues are weird.
Mm.
Oh, my goodness, man. I saw a thing on DR Sports where they're talking about Kompany is the worst manager ever in the Premier League.
Is that like mathematically he is the worst?
What
Right
about
now.
Derby County? I mean, that was
Right now, yeah. Bro's lost 11 games in 13.
Just not built for it, man.
The funny thing is that in the last, I think 4 or 5, they've gone up first.
Yeah, they've
They've gone up first.
Goals.
This one, man, it's just same old story. Burnley cannot finish to save their life. Cannot finish. They create decently enough, and they don't defend well either, man. It just I wanna say that they defend a little bit better, but they've given 32 goals, man.
Right.
They've given up 32 goals. And West Ham are good in transition. They're decent on the break, and Burnley just can't deal with it, man. This one was devastating. To lose it late like that's devastating, man. I feel for your boy, Lewis. I really do. But I feel
that had to be Souček.
Ugh.
But that's a heck of a ball by Kudus. I gotta give him props.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Men.
But Souček is like the most hated West Ham player of all time.
He is. I feel like there's another one that could be up there, but yeah, yeah.
I mean, if it's not, Coach Nate.
Talk bad about Nate, sir.
Or maybe Rupert, the owner, might be the most hated West Ham. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I watch the highlights, of course. I actually rewatch them now. And why are we starting Ings first off? Like, why
respect.
is huh?
No respect for Burnley.
I guess
It's a breeze game. We'll put Ings in.
But whatchamacallit didn't even make the bench.
Nor did Bowen. Nor did Antonio.
Yeah, I think Bowen's hurt.
Is he?
Yeah, he's on my fantasy team, and it says that he has a 50% chance of playing this week.
Sure.
With a knee injury. So I'm going to have to drop him. By the way, I added Mo Salah, and I scored under what was the average for the week. So...
Why would you pick Mo Salah against the City defense?
He got an assist.
He still got an assist.
Wait until Liverpool go to Luton.
Well, I will. I mean, I'm not going to drop him anytime soon.
Or wait, did they just go and draw at Luton? Yeah, they did, actually.
Yeah, they did. I need them to go to
wait till Luton come to Anfield.
or Sheffield United. But
yeah.
But yeah, weird lineup. Seemed like Moyes was like, okay, we're gonna take it serious, but we're really not. And I saw that JJ Watt was actually at this game.
He was at the game, yeah.
And he was talking about how, a lot of hours on a plane for 90 minutes, but it was great or something to that extent. Just hate the result or something of that nature.
Yeah.
It's not like he's playing or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Might do better on defense.
Yeah, we probably could.
Put him in that goal, brick wall in that goal.
Bring the old Prim back.
Right.
Oh yeah. But Burnley's just bad. I mean,
it's
I don't know if it's talent. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's both. But you would think that Kompany would devise something defensively to make them at least not everybody's get right game, because that's what it is. You need to get on a goalie. Get rid of a goal drought. Play Burnley.
I think they're just that. I think like we kind of said it at the beginning of the season, and Jake has asked Lewis about it a couple times. It's one of those like we're here. Like I think he knows. There's a lot of talk about him being on the chalk and block and might be the first one to go, but I don't know if Burnley's going to do that because they kind of went into this whole thing like we're not really supposed to be here. Let's just have a go at it and reap the money. We'll drop back down and we'll dominate the championship again. Like. It's just like they play because he hasn't changed how they play. He's not adjusting as if he wants to win or grind out games. This is how we play. This is what we're going to do. If they beat us 6-0, they beat us 6-0, but we're going to go out there and play our game. I'm not going to park bust this game because we need, a 0-0 and just grind this out.
To hear him tell that they've been deep, they haven't been that bad.
It's very Ange. Like, it's the Postecoglou thing. I think these managers are like, hey, this is how we play. And so his issue is just he lacks the personnel, which is why I think in January they're gonna make moves and give him then. If they can't do anything after the January window, after getting a few guys in, then yeah, he's done.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, that leaves us with just one game left to discuss. It was the one from today. Fulham have beaten 3-2. Willian,
my boy.
Like we said,
that he's never missed a penalty in the Premier League.
No way.
He's 7 of 7.
No way.
No way. That's crazy.
He made a deal with Father Time, boy.
Oh, he signed a Crossroads deal for sure.
Him and Silva, the Brazilians, man, they signed it together.
They signed, same day.
Same day.
Yeah, for sure.
It was in Rio somewhere during the Brazil game. Like
this was another basketball match. It's another back and forth.
Yep, I got to watch a little bit of this one at work. It was nice.
Very enjoyable match for sure. Some very suspect officiating.
Yeah.
As we're used to these days. Soft pin city in this 3 different penalty kicks. 2 of them were ridiculously soft. It's another situation where dude man has left his leg in.
Everyone took a page out of Brohaj.
The defender is literally doing this number and pulling his foot back.
We kind of started all this.
Soft, man.
Like, hey, man, I'm just going to leave myself here. I know I'm about to get
so soft. Oh, goodness.
Very soft.
And how is Vinicius not sent off?
Yeah.
If Rodri gets sent off for pantomiming a chokehold,
yep.
Vinicius actually does this number and connects and hits my man in the face. The fact that dude doesn't go rolling on the ground like Neymar.
Oh, I would have.
Is why
I would have said he broke my nose.
Yeah.
He wasn't practicing his art of acting.
I would have broke my own nose. I would have went.
Yeah, I would have went. Oh!
I don't play games. I want that call. I don't play games. Like I'm breaking my own nose.
Then X gets the straight red for diving on the VAR check.
Oh man,
I don't know because he'll Tyler Durden it, right?
Yeah, he Tyler Durden it. He's Fight Clubbing himself.
You can see the replay clearly. Just
ref stops the game because X is laying on the ground. It's a head injury. Well, what happened? Well, go check the VAR, man. He got me. And then there's no one around.
Are we getting Sergio Ramos with this where we're telling him to check the VAR? Is that what we're doing?
And then gets his own red?
Then gets his own red.
Amazing.
Oh, Mal, my buddy.
Absolutely fantastic, man. But, Gary O'Neill has every right to be angry in the presser. Yep. He wasn't happy after the game. And I'm surprised he hasn't spoke up before now. This feels really bad. This one feels really bad. And Fulham were decent though. It's not like they didn't deserve, to at least get something from the game. I thought that Wolves put in a performance where they never really looked super bothered. They looked like they were playing their game and kind of comfortable. Maybe a little shocked to give the first one. But the Pens, once again, man, we're just talking about the refs instead of the actual game.
Yep.
Which was a good game too.
It was. It's just that they influenced it so much here. Like this game should have been a draw. Like
it was poor, just poor, really poor officiating.
Right.
Yeah, I would say a draw is deserved.
And it's just right. I don't think either team deserved to lose here. But again, the refs officiating influences so much to where it does override a lot of the decent play we had. This ends 1-1. It's not a bad game.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, and that's kind of my whole argument in general, not just in soccer, but in football, basketball, all that. A ref can change the outcome of the game. And I know you're not supposed to blame officiating. You're supposed to do what you're supposed to do and all that. But in the end, an official can change the outcome of a game. They have that much power to be able to do that. And we've seen it multiple times now in the Premier League where you're just like, what? Why did you call that again? Why did you not call that even?
Yeah.
Like the who was it y'all were playing against? Was it City? No, it was someone else that you were playing against. Arsenal.
Arsenal Newcastle game?
I think it was the Tottenham game. No, maybe it wasn't. But it was where you could tell that the official didn't want to influence the game, even though it was clearly like, whoa.
The Kovacic second yellow.
Yeah. Yeah.
With the City Arsenal game.
The City game. Yeah, okay.
They even come out and said he didn't want to influence. He even said that I didn't want to negatively impact the game.
That was a yellow. It was
that was a clear second yellow.
And that's the thing. Like, okay, he could have made that call. Yes, it would have influenced the game, but it would have influenced the game based on an actual action inside of the game, But by him not making that call, he leaves a player on the pitch. He allows the game to continue because he doesn't want to have the headlines of, oh, you sent off Kovacic in the 26th minute and City lose, 2-0 because it's Arsenal versus City. But and I do respect that in a sense, but I also am like, you're supposed to do your job. Your job is to officiate the game. Your job is to call, as they would say, balls and strikes. It's not a situation to where you say, well, yeah, it's a foul, but I'm not gonna card it. I'm just not gonna card it. Like, no, that's not how.
Part of the reason I think they do that, Patrick, and I agree with you, is I think they feel like a call they called somewhere in the past was an overreach. And they're like, well, I overreached on something, so let me – and in that overreach, if already influenced the game, and they feel like, oh, well, I've influenced the game here, so let me not do it again. But, I mean, first of all, I think X, you said it. You prefer – or it might have been you, Jake. You prefer the errors. Like, hey, get rid of the –
I do. I do.
Give me the errors,
I've had refs pull – captaining a team, I've had refs pull me aside during confrontations and go, that I want you to know that was a makeup call because that was not a foul down there. I got that one wrong. I gave you the ball here. We're done. And he'll look at, we're done. You're not.
And then you just live with it. And then you just live with it.
Yeah.
That I was cool with.
I'm fine with. Because you keep the flow and the essence of this game the same. Whereas, bro, like when you go back and review these and you wait 10 minutes to get a PK and then you award a PK, it's like, how bad do you want to kick me while as a defending team? How bad do you want to kick me when I'm down, bro? I know I hit him. I know it's a foul. Give it to him. I don't need to sit here for 10 minutes, let my legs get cold.
Let's move on.
Now I'm going to get so upset and my head's not in it to kick. Like, you're asking these boys to play a different mental game.
That's definitely a new aspect. That's definitely a new aspect, that waiting.
That's not our game. Like I would be devastated coming back from one of those breaks.
And that's why I sent you that thing where they're talking about considering VAR for what was it, free kicks and corner
second
kicks.
Yellows, free kicks, corners and second yellows.
I mean, I love technology as much as the next person, but that's insane, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's getting out of control.
I just
It's definitely getting out of control, you know, and so are we here on 2 hours. We
I do
have
want to say one thing real quick. This is not Premier League based, but did y'all see the clip of Cristiano Ronaldo today?
yes, I did just watch that.
Integrity, sir.
Yeah,
Like,
fair play.
I'm like, wow,
Fair play.
Ronaldo? Like,
But no one has ever called him a cheat. I don't think he's a cheat.
No one's ever said anything like
I
that.
mean,
Yeah.
he's dove before. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Well, he's dove, but
Well,
I mean,
he's gonna. I mean, come on now. Like that just
Well,
kind of
he's not a
shows how
cheat.
serious my man's taking this league too. Like my man's not doing that in the La Liga. Doesn't matter who it is. Like
yeah, if it's Champions League, he's not. Yeah,
he's not
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
Like,
but I was like, Ronaldo?
you'd like to
that?
see that.
What?
You'd like to see that. Yeah, but speaking of Champions League, we'll get a quick little preview here at the end of the night. We'll start with the most boring and work to the most exciting. Who do you play Leipzig tomorrow, Lewis?
Mm-hmm.
So you are playing Leipzig. So you're yeah. So technically you want to win the game so that you can win the group. So yeah, it's not as much of a sleepwalk as I would have thought. Is this the home match?
Yes.
Yeah. I think y'all should be fine. But you'll play a strong squad, right?
Sure will.
Yeah.
3-0.
Yeah.
Old
I agree.
Timo Werner, about to head to Man United.
Yeah, good luck with that, man. You go for it. Yeah.
he's gonna start every game.
He's gonna start every game.
Every game.
But see, now they have two Anthonys. Ooh.
Slow clap for United.
Yeah, that was bad. But yeah, I think that City. I agree, Lewis. I think you guys will take care of business and cruise. I think that just like we saw last year, Leipzig gave a Herculean effort in Germany and got a good result. And then you put 7 goals past them. Yeah, so I agree.
After the weekend, Pep's like, we got to do something.
You don't want to be Leipzig after that. After City have just had that happen to them. They're looking to slay dragons, man.
And we're good with it being the Tuesday game because it gives us like 4 days before the Spurs game. So
big one at the weekend for sure. Another, as I said, we're moving from easiest to most difficult. Arsenal play Lens at home, and the biggest talking point really is a little revenge kick. What I want to see is a reciprocation of the environment, of the cauldron that we faced in France. I want the Emirates to be rocking. Okay, you're little, yeah, of course. Your little 27,000 person stadium. All right, come sit in a 60,000 seater, baby. Yeah, you want to talk about an environment. You want to talk about an atmosphere. Yeah, let's put it on them. That's what I want. That's what I want to see, and it's going to be a very sit and counter kind of game. Lens won't be low block FC Brentford style, but I expect it to be very similar to the first game we played against them, and a win clinches the group. So I expect us to go full strength, strong as we can. Probably going to see Havertz after winning the game. I expect he'll be back in the 8. So we'll see Rice, Havertz, Odegaard, Martinelli, Saka, and Jesus. Might see Trossard over Martinelli because of Martinelli played the full 90 for Brazil in both those games and then come back and played the full 90 or most of the game versus Brentford. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Trossard instead, which I wouldn't have any issue with that. Probably going to see Tomiyasu over Zinchenko to block up the counter. just a better defender, really. It's kind of the argument there. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Ramsdale either. But I also wouldn't be surprised to see Raya. Heart of Hearts.
Play on the weekend, so,
Well, he wasn't allowed to play versus
Right.
Brentford. My heart of hearts tells me Arteta will just revert back to Rise number 1. He'll get the game. If we win, the 6th group game is meaningless, and Carl Hein will play or something. Maybe Ramsdale will get that game.
Kai Havertz plays goalie. You never.
Yeah, I mean, I could play in that game. It doesn't matter as long as we beat Lons at home, which we should do. We will win the group. Riding high, sitting pretty. You love to see that. And even if we lose and Sevilla beat PSV, we still win the group. So it's a nice situation. We've done ourselves very well, done very well for ourselves there in Group B. Now,
it has to be a tie for the next hardest one because the next 2 games are crazy.
I would say that Manchester United's situation is more dire.
Yes.
And they got to go to the cauldron.
Because Munich have already clinched. And Galatasaray, man.
At home.
Playing for everything.
Woo.
Playing for everything.
Unless Garnacho can pull one out again.
It's not happening.
I don't see this one for United, man. I think this is where the run ends.
You think they want? It's like they almost want to be in. No, they won't even get a UEFA spot if they end up last, right?
There's a real danger of them going just right out, just not even in Europa.
Because 3rd gets the Europa. Sorry,
yeah.
Not the
So
yeah,
if oh god. Dude, United have to play Munich again.
Yeah. They have to win this game.
They have to win this game.
I was just real. Oh God, man,
and
it's bad.
Rashford is suspended for this game. Højlund is probably not going to play.
Nope. Still. You got McTominay, baby. Y'all got this.
They got to win this one though. Like they have to win this game.
That's gonna be tough, man. That's gonna be, as they say, as peak, as they say over in England. That one, that's dire straits right there. I don't see any hope because as good as they were versus Everton, there was still too much of their typical, kind of. It's like they approach the game where, okay, who's going to do something today? Okay, you're going to do something. All right, you do that. And then, okay, what else are we going to do? That's kind of how it looks to me. That's kind of like what it looks like, and Will Zaha, man. Oh, Zaha. Zaha's gunning for him, bro. Icardi's being scouted by Madrid right now, dude. Yeah, I've heard that Madrid are in for Icardi. That's one of the rumors floating out there. So dude's having a season. It's gonna be a long day.
Red Devils are going to hell, and I don't think they're coming out with a win.
I'm here for it.
That's gonna be a long, long day. Group F.
Oof, what a
Newcastle in Paris.
Ooh.
Mbappe looking for that revenge. Sweet, sweet revenge.
Big game.
Massive game.
Listen
to this. Listen to this. Dortmund on 7, Paris on 6, Milan on 5, Newcastle on 4. All to play for.
Massive.
Wow.
Oh, completely open.
Well,
To
that's
play
what
for.
we expected from the group.
It's the next 2 games. It depending on how this goes. It's both games are massive.
Yeah, all to play for. This is
everything.
But it is the most dire for Newcastle.
Yeah.
So
a draw here would almost kill them.
If Dortmund win and Newcastle lose, they're out.
They're done.
Yeah.
They can still make Europa, but it's a must win. It's like you've got to get a result. A draw might not even.
That's what I'm saying.
I
Draw
think
here
a draw
might not even do it, man.
still kicks them out.
I'm I mean, and
this is in Paris.
despite the 4-1 score line, they had to put in a shift.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they didn't just walk over you guys.
No.
They had to put in a shift to get that result.
4-1 does not tell.
No,
That's
it doesn't.
Not how that game was supposed.
It doesn't at all. So there might be, and they're gonna have to go gung ho. This game could be
against an Mbappe, against a
fantastic game.
No, it was France that scored 90 goals again in a single game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's half the French team anyway. It'll be Dembele. It'll be Ousmane Dembele and Kylian Mbappe.
Kylian Mbappe. Yep.
Yeah, dude. It's and Newcastle are going to be pushing up. They're going to be going for it. It could get this one. I mean, and Paris are like, there's no way they come and bring the same thing they brought to St. James.
No.
And just get blamed.
No.
They'll have learned.
Yes.
They'll have learned. It's Enrique, right? It's Luis Enrique.
Yeah.
He'll have something cooked up. And yeah, I'm excited. I don't know when it is, but I will definitely watch it. Whether I get to watch it live or not, it is tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh,
count me in.
Count me in. Yeah, I got all. I'll be at the farm throwing hay all day. Count me in.
PSG
More than you can believe.
A 5-2 against Monaco.
They just beat Monaco 5-2?
Yeah.
That's big. Monaco are the challengers this season. That's big. That's a big win.
Not at 5-2.
Yeah, exactly.
It's League One, dude.
I know.
League CSU could be the challengers in League
First year CSU,
but
maybe.
RC Lons finished second last season.
Yeah.
And they almost on the last day. On the last day, Paris overtook them. Farmers.
Let's see.
And I say that, and Lons beat Arsenal.
Farmers. We're both farmers.
Man United are 6th in the league.
We are the farmers.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Well, yeah, there you have it. Champions League looking spicy. The penultimate match week. This one tomorrow, Wednesday. I'm pretty excited. City play tomorrow. Arsenal on Wednesday. So yeah, I'll probably watch all of these games and as many of the neutral ones as well. Obviously, Dortmund and Milan will be a big one. Lots of action going on this week. So if you're as excited as we are about to go ahead and smash up the likes. Of course, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Subscribe if you're new. We are on our way to 200 subscribers. I certainly hope you are enjoying yourself, having a good one wherever you are, whenever you are listening out there. Thanks again for being here, and you will see us next time.